You could hear the internet crack the second ESPN hit publish. Caitlin Clark is the best WNBA player under 25. Just like that, the pot boiled over. And somewhere in Stores, Connecticut, or maybe in a quiet gym with that signature Bueckers scowl and a ball in her hands, Paige Bueckers felt the sting, because this wasn't just a ranking. This was a statement, a declaration, a cultural endorsement. ESPN wasn't just saying Caitlin's good. They were saying she's the future, the present, and possibly the GOAT pipeline in one shiny, media-boosted package. And Paige, she's had enough. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. Now, before we get messy, let's lay the groundwork. Paige Bueckers isn't some random name tossed into the conversation for spice. She's been that girl since the moment she touched a high school court. National Player of the Year, UConn superstar, a walking bucket with handles smoother than a late-night R&B track. She had the hype before Caitlin. She was the blueprint, the prototype, the golden child of the women's game. And then injury, setback, recovery, pause. And in that pause, Caitlin Clark stormed the stage like it was hers all along. And to ESPN, it basically is. Clark's numbers are wild. She's not just scoring, she's orchestrating. 17 points per game, 9 assists, pulling defenders 5 feet past the three-point line, breaking schemes, dragging the Indiana Fever from bottom feeder status into must-see TV, selling out arenas, moving merchandise like she's printing money, the kind of impact you feel, even if you've never watched a game. But here's where things got nuclear, because the ranking wasn't about who's winning today. It was about potential. And that's where Paige drew the line. Because if we're talking potential, Paige Bueckers has been sitting on platinum-level potential since Caitlin was still getting Gatorade Player of the Year nominations. Before Caitlin even hit the W, Paige was already making waves, had Nike deals on the table, $1 million smile, and game to back it all up. So when ESPN handed Clark the crown, Bueckers didn't have to tweet a single word. Her face said everything. One media appearance later, one cryptic quote, one side eye. Boom, rivalry reignited. You know, some people earn it. Some people are handed it. Subtle? Not even a little. We saw what you did there, Paige. And just like that, basketball Twitter entered DEFCON 1. Let's be clear. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers are not besties. Respect? Sure. Share grind? Absolutely. But friends? Nah, not with this much legacy on the line. Because in this era of women's basketball, there's not just one spotlight. There's one supernova. And Clark's been soaking in that light like solar power for months now. But Paige? She's done waiting. She's tired of being the comeback kid. She's tired of watching Clark soak up every mic, every feature, every article that talks about the future of the league, like Paige doesn't have next-level handles, court vision that could win chess matches, and ice in her veins for days. This ESPN ranking wasn't just another clicky listicle. It was a line in the sand. Because here's the truth. Paige didn't lose the top spot. She never got to claim it. Injuries robbed her the window. The sport moved on without her. And Clark, being the absolute machine she is, made sure that window stayed shut. So now, it's personal. Clark's not just a great player. She's the brand, the billboard, the headline. She's a reason casual fans are watching women's basketball. And that level of influence? It's not fair. It's not equal. And it doesn't sit well with players like Paige, who are just as skilled, just as dedicated, and, in their eyes, more deserving. Because let's talk about what Paige actually brings. This isn't just a cute player from UConn story. Paige Bueckers is a game manager. She's efficient, smart, clutch. She doesn't need to chuck up logo threes for attention. She'll break you down with a stutter step and drop a dime you didn't see coming. Her game is less viral and more surgical. Less noise, more damage. A silent assassin in a league that rewards flash. And maybe that's a problem. Because in the social media era, sometimes being great isn't enough. You've got to be loud. You've got to trend. You've got to own the moment. And that's what Caitlin Clark does better than almost anyone in the sport. She doesn't just play the game. She commands narrative. And Paige? She's been stuck responding to it. But here's the twist. What if this ranking, this snub, this ESPN-fueled crown ceremony for Clark, is the ignition Paige needed? What if this is the chip she's been missing? The burn she needed to snap out of recovery mode and slide back into that kill mode we all remember from her freshman year? Because don't forget, when Paige is healthy, she's unreal. Smooth, composed, clinical. She sees the floor like a chessboard. She can drop 25 and make it look like a slow jog. And she's not afraid of the moment. She wants the smoke. So now, we wait, because the return isn't just coming. It's being fueled by disrespect. This rivalry, it's about to get intense. We're not just watching two players battle for stats. We're watching two brands, two philosophies, two faces of the game collide. Clark is a firebrand. The headline, the explosion. Bueckers is a storm. Slow building, calculated, devastating when it finally hits. So go ahead, ESPN. Give Clark the crown. Let her carry the league. Let her break records, sell tickets, make fans fall in love with the game. But don't think for a second that Paige Bueckers is just going to fade into that what-if category. Because if you know anything about Paige, it's this. She thrives in silence. She sharpens in the shadows. And when she comes for that crown, she's not asking. So here's the real question. Was ESPN bold? Or did they just wake up a monster? Comment below. Are you Team Caitlin or Team Paige? Who really deserves the under 25 crown? And which one of them is about to own the next era of women's basketball? Subscribe and stay locked in, because if you thought this was just a ranking, oh no, this is war. And it's about to play out in real time. Because if there's one thing women's basketball doesn't do anymore, it's play quiet. The days of silent rivalries and soft media rollouts are over. This is a new era, and the Paige versus Caitlin storyline is at the absolute center of it. Not as a side plot, not as a subplot, but as a storyline that could define an entire generation of hoop culture. And ESPN, they just poured gasoline on it. Crowning Caitlin Clark the best under 25 wasn't just about numbers. It was about control, about who gets to define this league, who gets the torch, who's shaping the narrative from here on out. And Paige Bueckers, whether she says out loud or not, just got told she's not the main character anymore. And that burns, because Paige didn't come into the sport to be second best. She didn't spend 2 years clawing back from injury, watching a headline shift, her name slowly slipping down the trending topics, just to be treated like a side note in Caitlin's origin story. She was supposed to be the one, the chosen one, the Steph Curry of the women's game. Handle, IQ, leadership, everything. She was the future before Clark even had a college offer. But while she was icing her knees, Clark was writing her legacy in real time. And now, Bueckers has to watch as every network, every analyst, every hype package positions Clark as the undisputed queen of the next era. You don't just sit there and swallow that. Not if you're Paige. Because Clark's crown doesn't just come with compliments. It comes with power. Power over endorsement deals, over jersey sales, over game scheduling, over narrative. And if there's one thing athletes know better than anyone else, it's that once someone else controls the story, your shot at the spotlight shrinks. So Paige has two choices. She can clap back with tweets, interviews, side eyes, we'll see quotes, and vague Insta captions that fans dissect for hours. Or she can remind the world exactly who she is. On the court, with that deadly crossover, with that no-look assist, with that quiet fire that doesn't scream for attention, but demands it anyway. Because let's not forget, Paige's game doesn't need volume. It needs space. And the second she gets back into full rhythm, no minute restrictions, no pain management, no recovery protocols. It's over for whoever's standing in her way, Caitlin included. And don't think for a second Caitlin's not watching her. 2. For all of Clark's dominance, for all the records and headlines, you know she feels Paige breathing down her neck. You don't play at that level and not track the competition. Clark knows the game isn't just about shooting percentages and assist-to-turnover ratios anymore. It's about legacy. And if Paige comes back this season and lights up the court, that ESPN crown starts to wobble. Because Clark's great, maybe generational. But Paige has something to prove. And hunger has a way of turning potential into history. And this is where it gets interesting. The pressure? It's on both of them now. For Clark, the expectation is sky high. She's not the underdog anymore. She's not the surprising rookie. She's the face. The pressure is baked into every bounce pass, every off-screen three, every moment she doesn't hit 20 and 10. There's no room for error when you've been crowned best of your generation before your sophomore WNBA season. And for Bueckers, the clock is ticking. No more wait and see. No more once she's fully healthy. The grace period is over. It's time to deliver, or be remembered as the prodigy who almost was. Because this generation doesn't wait. Fans don't want potential. They want proof. They want takeovers. They want buzzer beaters. They want moments that live forever on TikTok and in highlight reels and in the rafters. So, yeah, Caitlin's got the crown for now. But Paige is loading. She's in the gym. She's watching film. She's counting reps. And you know she's counting down to that first head-to-head with Clark on a WNBA court. Because in her mind, that's not just a game. That's the reset button. The night she reminds everyone. This isn't a one-woman era. This is a collision course. And the league needs it. Because competition drives greatness. And nothing drives engagement. Fans, brands, viewers, culture like a real rivalry. Not fake drama. Not PR manufactured tension. A real, rooted in history, emotion-fueled battle between two stars who respect each other, but would love nothing more than to outplay, outshine, and outlast one another. This isn't just Clark versus Bueckers. This is the future of the WNBA being shaped in real time. Two stars, two styles, two narratives. Caitlin Clark, the explosive showstopper, the game-changing offensive weapon, the media darling. Paige Bueckers, the surgical technician, the poised assassin, the one who's been waiting for her moment to reclaim the throne. So let ESPN make their rankings. Let the headlines scream about Caitlin being the best under 25. Let the merch fly off the shelves. Because if Paige gets the last word, it won't come with a post. It'll come with a game, a statement win, a highlight clip that silences the internet, a reminder that the crown may be shiny, but it's not glued down. So, who's really the best under 25? Stay tuned, because the next chapter might just flip the script completely. And when that reckoning comes, it's going to be poetic. Picture this. Packed arena, sold-out crowd, WNBA cameras everywhere. Social media feeds already on fire before tip-off. It's Indiana versus whoever ends up drafting Paige. Clark's already warming up with her signature tunnel vision, launching logo threes, soaking in the chants. Her jerseys everywhere. The league is riding her momentum like a tidal wave. Then Paige walks in. No entourage. No theatrics. Just a look. The same look she had when she dropped 31 on Baylor, with the whole season on the line. The same look that says, "Remember me?" Because make no mistake, Paige Bueckers remembers everything. Every tweet that called her washed. Every ESPN segment that forgot to mention her name. Every fan thread that said her moment had passed. Every scout who moved her one line lower on the draft board. She hasn't forgotten a thing. And while the world was falling in love with Caitlin Clark, Paige was quietly, methodically plotting her return. Because for some players, success is the end goal. For others, it's revenge. And this isn't just basketball anymore. This is about legacy, about owning your name in an era that loves to move on fast. One injury, one absence, one quiet season, and suddenly you're a ghost. That's what Paige is up against. Not Caitlin, not the league, the clock. Because Clark's already there. She's in the league. She's breaking records. She's getting primetime games. She's already changed the WNBA's media footprint in a matter of months. Meanwhile, Paige has to fight through whispers. Whispers that maybe she peaked early. That maybe she's too fragile. That maybe she's just a college highlight reel. And those whispers, she hears them louder than any arena crowd. So now she has to answer, and not with talk, with performance. The moment she steps onto a WNBA court, it won't be a debut, it'll be a test. Can she keep up with the speed? Will she stay healthy? Can she live up to the hype that's been haunting her like a ghost for 3 years? Because fair or not, the comparisons are coming. Every stat she puts up will be measured against Caitlyn's. Every game she plays will be dissected for signs of leadership, chemistry, impact. And every time she scores, people will ask, yeah, but would Clark have scored more? That's the world she's walking into. One where every missed shot is amplified. Every quiet night is a headline. Every good game is still somehow not enough. But if there's one thing about Paige Bueckers, she was built for this. She's not scared of the noise. She's not running from expectations. She's not looking to prove she's better than Clark. She's looking to prove she's undeniable. Because there's a difference. You can be better for a night, for a season, for a moment, but undeniable, that's forever. And Caitlyn, she's already halfway there. But Paige, she's coming. And the more you underestimate her, the harder she's going to hit you with that hesitation pull-up jumper that doesn't even touch the rim, with that skip pass that threads through 3 defenders like she's got cheat codes, with that stillness in the biggest moments when everyone else is tight, and she's out there looking like it's just another rep in the driveway. Because Paige Bueckers has never needed the spotlight. She just needs the ball. And if she gets into the right system, with the right pieces, the right coach, the right runway, phew, she's going to remind the world that there was a time, not long ago, when she wasn't just next to Caitlin Clark's name. She was the name. And let's be honest, we want this rivalry. We need it. Women's basketball is at a turning point. The eyes are here. The interest is real. And what better way to keep that momentum than 2 generational stars, 2 different personalities, 2 entire fan bases go to war every time they step on the floor. Caitlin Clark, the explosive, outspoken, always on the edge of viral shot creator. Paige Bueckers, the assassin in disguise, calm, cold, and utterly composed. It's Magic versus Bird, but make it Gen Z. Make it sneakers and tunnel fits. Make it nil deals and WNBA franchises rebranded around them. This is bigger than basketball. This is pop culture. This is a marketing dream. But only if Paige delivers. Only if she takes all the pressure, all the disrespect, all the articles that call Clark the face of the league, and turns it into fuel, not bitterness. That's what separates the greats from the legends. And that's what this next chapter will decide. Because make no mistake, Paige's time is coming. And if she plays it right, Caitlyn might have to share that crown after all. But if she fumbles, if she hesitates, if she lets the weight of expectation crush her, then this moment, this beautiful, chaotic, dramatic rivalry will turn into something sadder. It'll turn into a what if, a footnote, and that would be a tragedy. So, ESPN crowned Caitlin Clark the best under 25. Cool. We get it. She's earned it for now. But don't get too comfortable. Because in the shadows, behind the noise, beneath the hot takes, Paige Bueckers is coming to collect. And when she does, we'll be watching. And if you're still sitting there thinking, is this even a rivalry? Oh, sweetie, you're already behind. Because this isn't some passive-aggressive media-manufactured beef. This is a Cold War in real time, where every look, every quote, every perfectly timed photo dump is a subtle move on the chessboard. It's 2 titans circling each other, not throwing haymakers yet, but letting the tension build. And it's building fast. See, Caitlin Clark may have an ESPN crown, the signature shoe talk, the sold-out arenas, the logo threes that break algorithms. But Paige Bueckers has something just as dangerous. Nothing to lose. And when a player as talented as Paige has been humbled, counted out, and forced to watch someone else take the spotlight she once held in her hands, that's when they become scary. Because let's not forget, before the injuries, before the pauses, before Caitlyn Mania took over sports media like a tidal wave of blonde ponytails and sharpshooter highlights, Paige was the one. She didn't need 30-foot bombs to prove her worth. She controlled the game with a look, a skip pass, a slither into the lane, and that feathery jumper from the elbow that barely kissed the rim. You couldn't rush her. You couldn't fluster her. You couldn't even talk to her on the court because she already saw everything 3 steps ahead of you. That's the thing. Clark overwhelms you. Bueckers unravels you. And in a league that's now obsessed with pace, personality, and going viral, there's something almost unnerving about Paige's poise. She's not chasing moments. She's setting them up. She's not running to catch up with Caitlin's spotlight. She's calmly waiting for the time to flip the switch. And when she does, it's going to shift the whole conversation. Because right now, Caitlin Clark owns a narrative. Let's be honest. Every WNBA headline is Clark adjacent. Every jersey sale is either Caitlin or someone being compared to Caitlin. Even when the Fever lose, people still talk about her like she just walked off a victory parade float. That's how powerful her presence is. She makes mediocrity marketable. But that kind of attention, it comes with an expiration date. If you're not challenged, and that's where Paige becomes so important to the health of this new WNBA era. Because without someone to push Clark, to actually threaten her hold on the culture, we're just watching a one-woman show. And the thing about one-woman shows, eventually, the audience wants a plot twist. So imagine a moment, Paige finally fully healthy, drafted into a franchise that's just hungry enough to let her cook. Her debut? Not hyped up like Caitlin's, not drenched in media cameras or shoe deals, just a quiet game with something to prove. And then she drops 25 points, 7 assists, 3 steals, breaks a few ankles, runs the offense like a symphony, hits a game winner with that signature icy stare. Boom. The entire narrative cracks open. Now it's not Caitlin Clark versus the league. It's Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers, for real. And suddenly, everything changes. Commentators start asking new questions. Is Caitlin really the most complete guard in the game? Has Paige actually been better at controlling tempo this whole time? Which player elevates their team more? Caitlin with her range, or Paige with her decision-making? And let's talk about teammates, because that's where things start to bite. Right now, Clark's out here doing everything. She's the engine, the ignition, and the brake system of the Indiana Fever. And it's working, kind of, but it's also revealing a lot. Fatigue, turnovers, defensive lapses. When you're too central to a team, you start to wear down. Meanwhile, Paige has always been about the system. She moves with the team, through the team. She's Leslie against the world, and more, I make everyone better. Which long-term, that's championship DNA. And in a few years, when these two are deeper into their careers, past the media darling phase, past the rookie mistakes, it won't just be about who scores more. It'll be about who wins more, who builds dynasties, who lasts. And that's where the real rivalry lives. Not in the debates, not in the rankings, not even the viral clips, but in the sustained pressure these two stars are going to put on each other for the next decade. Because Paige is not going away. Not now. Not after this. If anything, she's just starting to cook. She's watching. She's plotting. She's working in the gym while everyone else is reposting Caitlin's latest highlights. She's keeping notes. Filing away every time someone forgets to put her on a list, or says she can't stay healthy, or writes her off as just a college name. She's not loud about it. She doesn't need to be. Because when Paige Bueckers finally gets her moment on that WNBA stage, she's not going to ask for respect. She's going to take it. So yeah, Caitlin Clark is the queen of now. But Paige Bueckers, she's about to become the queen of what's next. And that's the real magic of this moment. 2 athletes, 2 styles, 2 entire visions of what greatness looks like. Both worthy, both iconic, but only one can sit at the top at a time. And when they finally meet on the biggest stage, there won't be any more lists, no more rankings, no more debate, just a showdown for the ages. And we'll all be there, holding our breath, watching basketball history being rewritten in real time. So the question isn't, who's better under 25? The real question is, who's going to find the next 25 years?